Hello, everyone, and welcome. You're watching the EBC international coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Anna Cui, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Tonight, we have live updates from several of our correspondents from across the U.S. Starting with Ken Cruz from Fort Washington, who will report about Maryland moving into stage 1 of recovery with a flexible and community-based approach. Next, we have Nicole Padilla from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Louisiana enters stage 1 of reopening, and Texas resident takes time to help others while managing 7 kids.
Next, we have Glessie Magaling from Panorama City, California.
Los Angeles County and the United Way of Greater LA collaborate to provide the homeless online library resources.
Plus, tonight, find out how the 2019 Idea School's Teacher of the Year, Elizabeth Lasses Red, balances teleworking, homeschooling, and caring for her family. And Eagle News correspondent Myla Simbulan invites us to her kitchen in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, as she makes some flat cinder-curve pizza bread. But first, an overview of the world looks now. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, May 17, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 4,600,000. This includes close to 1,500,000 in the U.S. and more than 78,000 in Canada. Sadly, this virus has claimed more than 314,000 lives worldwide. This number includes more than 89,000 deaths in the U.S. and close to 6,000 in Canada. Our coverage begins now. The coronavirus pandemic canceled Barsha Thibo's graduation ceremony at Georgetown University, so the 27-year-old Pakistani student is instead celebrating her school achievement from her bedroom, donning her cap for a virtual ceremony organized for her and other graduates by the International House, where she lives in Washington, D.C. Take a look.
They were all planning to come to join. We even had rooms reserved for them. We had a venue reserved for our events through the department. But in the absence of it, we are just celebrating virtually. Although there is a lot of negative stuff and there's a lot of fear, people are being very, very kind, I think, to the graduated class of 2020 because of all of this stuff that has just happened while we're just entering the job market. I think employers, although I don't have much experience with the interviews right now, but as I'm interviewing, I see that there's a lot of sympathy, I think, for this class, which...
In South Africa, nurse Belikazi Medlalozic has a front row seat to see the government's response to the new coronavirus. Training colleagues, testing and screening for the virus, she warns that a mass screening and testing campaign underway may miss many infections. With an expert flick of the wrist, nurse Medlalozic collected throat swabs from young men lining up for coronavirus testing at a rundown hostel in downtown Johannesburg. Health workers were sent to the overcrowded block of single-room flats, mainly occupied by men from rural areas, doing odd jobs in the city as part of a mass community screening and testing, or CST, campaign launched by the government last month. Medlalozic, who is employed by Doctors Without Borders, or MSF, let her family a usual job in the northwestern town of Rustenburg in March to support community work in Johannesburg. Age 51, she trains government health workers to handle suspected coronavirus patients correctly, checking in on CST teams deployed to townships, offices, and shopping malls. Medlalozic said, quote, "We identify those that are COVID-19 positive and those that have symptoms. These are vulnerable people," she added, pointing out that most would not even think to visit a clinic when sick. By being here, we actually target the right group.
If it breaks here, yeah, it's going to be too much. And these people, at the end of the month, they go home to see their families and they take the same coronavirus to those families. The mass screening is done without the proper training, and they go out there, they do the mass screening, and they have to swab people in. But now with lacking in terms of the skill, and then it won't make any change because there will be a lot of clients that will be missed because people are not doing the correct thing. The mass screening will help, but if it's done correctly.
But as South Africa's coronavirus outbreak picks up pace, with confirmed cases creeping over 13,500, including 247 deaths, Madalo's and other health experts are beginning to see the limits of the country's lauded community screening strategy. Nurse Madalo says we are not out of the woods. Take a look.
We haven't dodged a bullet. We're still going to have massive of positive cases because now we are actually in the communities where they are having it. Even in the Texas, we had lots of people that were just going in without masks. Remember, even the mask thing only came out 2-3 weeks with the second lockdown. Yes. But then before that lockdown, we were not having masks.
When we come back, more COVID-19 updates from our Eagle News correspondents. We will return shortly. Stay with us.
Iba man ang pinanggalingan, iisa lang ang pinangahawakan. Ang pangarap na makilala sa kanilang larangan. Mas titindi pa ang performances ng ating mga TNG aspirants dito lang sa pinakabago at pinakamalaking talent competition ng Philippine Television. Ito ang...
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Vet-approved Nutri-Chunks, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimal energy and probiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutri-Chunks. Sanmig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sanmig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Magnolia Chicken Templados. Delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat. Pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda. Kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Kubert, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Kubert, your ultimate NEPS and air conditioning solutions. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Unlad Incorporated International. Fight against global poverty. Canrip Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at coffee pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with elastomeric waterproofing paint, colorful protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. Our Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. Saisho International Trading Corporation. DN Steel. EMAT UPVC Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sanmig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sanmig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The successful development of TPLEX or Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway in 2009 a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario, La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan, La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
We're watching news. I'm Anna Kui in Las Vegas. Maryland moves into stage 1 of recovery with a flexible and community-based approach. Ken Cruz in Fort Washington reports.
Thanks, Anna. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan announced a partial reopening of the state that started 5 p.m. on May 15th, but said local officials can opt out if they don't believe their jurisdictions are ready. Stay-at-home orders remain in effect, however, in the state's most heavily populated areas, which include Baltimore City, Baltimore, Anne Arundel, Howard, Prince George, and Montgomery counties. Officials in many other localities are still deciding whether to join the part of Hogan's reopening plan he dubbed Phase 1. Hogan made clear that moving from a stay-at-home order to a safer-at-home advisory will not mean business as usual. There'll be strict limits on crowd sizes and extensive social distancing requirements. Dine-in restaurants and services like nail salons, among other things, will not be available until later. The first phase reopening allows clothing and shoe stores, pet groomers, animal adoption shelters, car washes, art galleries, and bookstores to relaunch their businesses, but they must remain at 50% capacity or less. Employees must wear masks, and other social distancing restrictions must be observed. Manufacturers may also reopen, but Hogan said companies should consider spreading workers out over multiple shifts and ensure that safety precautions are in place. If the virus starts to spread within the community or residents ignore social distancing conventions, Hogan plans to reverse the reopening actions. Hogan stated, quote, "If everybody goes crazy and does things that are unsafe, we're going to balloon back up and slow down the process. If everybody responds responsibly, we'll be able to move forward quicker," end quote. Residents can expect to wear masks and stay at least 6 feet apart in public for months to come. Houses of worship were able to resume services starting Friday at 5 p.m. when Phase 1 took effect, but must restrict attendance to half their legal capacity. And Hogan urged churches and other religious institutions to hold worship services outdoors if possible. Religious gatherings are the only exception to the ban on gatherings of more than 10 people. As for the state numbers, the number of coronavirus hospitalizations in Maryland dropped by 40 patients as of Sunday and is now at its lowest level in 3 weeks, according to state health officials. The total number of positive COVID-19 cases in the state has reached 38,804. The state's death toll was 1,876 as of Sunday, and the death rate has stabilized at about 50 deaths per day over the previous 2 weeks, according to state data. In Fort Washington, Maryland, Ken Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you.
Thanks, Ken. Louisiana enters stage 1 of reopening, and Texas resident takes time to help others while managing 7 kids. Eagle News correspondent Nicole Padilla reports. Nicole?
Thank you. Governor John Bel Edwards formally declared that Louisiana will enter into Phase 1 of reopening on Friday, May 15th. thus lifting the stay-at-home order. The order specifies that residents, especially people who are at a higher risk of severe illness from COVID-19, should still stay at home as much as possible to avoid unnecessary exposure. Major changes in the new order include expanding the types of businesses that can now operate in the specific types of businesses that are limited to 25% of occupancy and require strict social distancing. Governor Edwards said, "While this is a step forward for our state, I want to encourage the public and business owners to proceed cautiously and to take the necessary steps to protect themselves, including wearing a protective face covering like a cloth mask when they are in public, keeping social distance from people outside of their households, and practicing good hygiene." He also added, "I know this has been a trying time for our people, our churches, and our businesses. Louisianans are a remarkably strong and resilient people, and by working together, we will continue to protect each other in our state." Meanwhile, we go to our neighboring state of Texas, which is also reopening. We spoke with Edward Bernal, who is a father of 7, who shares his values of helping others in need while managing his own family. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Edward Bernal. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Lockdown due to the COVID-19 virus. How's it making my wife and kids feel? Well, got a little cabin fever going on here. I have 7 children, as a matter of fact. We have Donovan, who is a 22-year-old Marine. He is in the United States Marine Corps. We have Micah. We have Relisa, who is just enlisted into the United States Navy. We also have Alana, who is 12 years old. And then we have Caleb and Ethan, and Sadie is 6 years old. It's been great spending a lot of quality time with them. How we actually work this out, it hasn't really been an issue, as I'm retired myself. My wife is now working from home, and it has been trying. The unexpected benefits, I would say, of the pandemic at this time is I'm getting to know my children, and the teacher's really right. My children don't behave. They're great kids, though. But as far as doing their schoolwork, some of them are more applied than others. They are struggling in certain areas. It's extremely beneficial that we're able to address the issues right now before they become a problem later. I keep them as safe as I can. I go to the store, by myself. I scrub down when I get home from the store. We only go out for necessary supplies. Toilet paper seems to be an ongoing commodity, and that's another thing that I do whenever I go to the store. I won't necessarily need the staple myself, but I do know some of my senior citizens that are here in our neighborhood that can't get out. I still find myself worrying about my neighbors, about my relatives. I'm very, very fortunate that my family is in a situation in order to be able to help these people out. Well, it makes one feel really, really fortunate about what they have, about what they're able to give to their neighbors. And it gives everybody the opportunity to show that they care. And I'm able to get them some of their supplies that they need. In fact, whenever this whole thing gets over, the things that I'm looking forward to the most is taking a vacation with my wife. I want to see if I can get my mother over here to San Antonio from Washington State to babysit and maybe do a little fishing in Corpus Christi.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Nicole Adeline Padilla, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Nicole. That would be a much-deserved vacation for him after juggling 7 kids, but still very commendable that he's still able to take the time to help his neighbors. Now, Nicole, you're a graduating senior this year. First off, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Hannah.
How is your school district handling graduation ceremonies?
Despite the circumstances, our school district is committed in holding in-person graduation. My school will be holding our graduation at a smaller venue with a 2-person limit for the number of guests that we can bring. However, the exact date has not yet been finalized.
And how are you and your classmates? You're coping with the fact that, 2020 is not the typical graduation.
Anna, our high school career has been very interesting. We started freshman year with Louisiana's historical flood of 2016, and we're ending it with COVID-19. Although my classmates and I are sorrowful that we are not having a typical graduation and that we are not able to fully have the senior experience, we are hopeful and excited to enter a new chapter of our life.
Yeah, as a, your graduation team, your class of 2020, surely, had to grow up much faster. So, on a positive note, you'd learn some really good experience, I'm sure, in coping with situations like this. But we want to congratulate you, and hats off to you. We want to congratulate you on your graduation. Good job.
Thank you, Hannah.
Take care. Los Angeles County and the United Way of Greater Los Angeles collaborate to provide the homeless online library resources. Eagle News correspondent Glessy Magaling in Panorama City has the story.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. Los Angeles County libraries have long been frequented by residents in the neighborhood, but it may surprise some to discover that many from the homeless population also regularly make use of what a library has to offer. Anyone who walks through the doors can avail of employment resources, the internet, and has access to books, magazines, and other brain-stimulating materials. Unfortunately, county libraries are not immune to the risks brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, and just like so many other institutions have had to shut their doors to the public, which includes one of the most vulnerable groups in society, the homeless. In an attempt to fill the void left by library closures, LA County Libraries and the United Way of Greater Los Angeles are making a collaborative effort to specifically provide the homeless a way to connect with library resources online. Librarians have assembled 7,000 activity kits and hope to ship every single one of them out to institutions like the United Way of Greater Los Angeles and initiatives such as the Project Room Key, which many will remember was launched to create shelters for the homeless by utilizing hotel and motel rooms in Los Angeles County, with the goal of giving temporary housing to individuals who are at higher risk for contracting the coronavirus. So once online, the homeless can open one of these kits and find a digital library card, a pin, and activity sheets like word searches and crossword puzzles, which can help keep their minds fit. Something that the LA County Libraries feel is especially worthwhile during these times wherein physical distancing and less places being open may equate to less stimulation for the mind. By making their activity kits available to the homeless, Los Angeles libraries aim to continue their goal of serving all members of the county's large and diverse communities. In Los Angeles County, the total number of confirmed cases is 37,974, with 1,821 deaths, as announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. Meanwhile, the state of California now has 79,837 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 3,240 deaths as recorded by the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine Coronavirus Resource Center. In Panorama City, California, Glessy Magaling, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Glessy. Now, what institutions can qualify to receive these activity kits?
Well, Anna, while the United Way of Greater Los Angeles and Project Room Key were specifically mentioned, according to a video posted on the LA County Library Twitter page, any organization that has group home situations can receive these kits because they want that every single one of their 7,000 kits will be distributed.
Well, thank you so much, Glessy. You and your family stay safe, okay?
Thank you.
Coming up, meet the 2019 IDEA School's Teacher of the Year in Edinburgh as she shares with us how she balances teleworking, homeschooling, caring for her family, and everything else. Eagle News will return shortly. Stay with us.
Ein sonniger Tag heute hier in Berlin vor dem Bundestag. Ich bin Irene Juliet Arzadon und möchte diese Gelegenheit nutzen, um ein paar Worte mit euch zu teilen. An alle Menschen da draußen. In dieser Zeit, lasst uns nicht vergessen, den Menschen zu danken, die ihr Leben für uns opfern. Sei es die Menschen, die im Krankenhaus arbeiten, in den Altenheimen sowie in den Arztpraxen, aber auch an die Menschen, die im Lebensmittelhandel sich befinden. Die Kassierer. Manchmal reicht es aus, um ihnen ein freundliches Lächeln zu geben. Denn die Menschen, die heute am Arbeiten sind, weil sie nicht so wie einige von uns zu Hause bleiben können, die sollten wir wertschätzen. Ihnen sollten wir unseren Dank ausrichten. Darum lasst uns noch mehr zusammenhalten, sie wertschätzen.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. For most parents, the stay-at-home situation due to the pandemic does not mean more downtime. It actually means added responsibilities to the already busy lifestyle they might have. How so? Well, those with kids that still go to school now have the duty to oversee their children's education more closely than before, because homeschooling means parents becoming hands-on school teachers too. Not to mention having to bring their workload home from the office if they are not out there as frontline or essential workers. Plus, of course, the sweet but very demanding responsibility to make sure the family is well taken care of. In tonight's episode, we will hear from the 2019 Idea Schools Teacher of the Year in Edinburgh, Texas, Elizabeth Lasses-Red, who will share with us the art of balancing work, homeschooling, and parenting in this time when changes to our routines are inevitable. Take a look.
My name's Elizabeth Red. I'm the academic counselor at Idea Edinburgh Academy. My husband's name is Mike. He's also one of the special ed teachers on campus. We have a 4-year-old named Sterling. He's a pre-K student at our campus. And we have a 3-year-old named Skylar. We live in Edinburgh, Texas. Prior to the pandemic lockdown, I would report to campus daily, along with my husband, a teacher, and my son, a pre-K student. As an academic counselor, I oversee the family engagement on campus, and the social emotional needs of our students. This included lots of planning and one-on-one check-ins with our students. If necessary, I would also place home visits to ensure our families are doing well and to offer our help to the community. When the pandemic lockdown started, the state governor closed all Texas schools. Students and staff had to continue our daily routine from home. This was a huge change for us. Not only did I have responsibilities to complete as an academic counselor, I also had to be the teacher for my pre-K son. It was quite a challenge to adapt to a different routine. I needed to find a balance. As one of the administrators on campus, I'm working constantly. It's not an 8 to 5 job for me. If students needed comfort or support, I'm there. If teachers needed help contacting students, I'm there. At the same time, I have to remember that I have my children at home with me too. So I had to change my usual routine to also include the needs of my own children. There are many challenges that surface when educators are teaching through distance learning. I think the biggest challenge here in our area is the lack of technology. Teaching and learning remotely requires technology for the teacher and the students to be able to connect. There are many rural areas here in South Texas that don't have internet available. There are many families that lost their jobs due to the pandemic and can't afford technology. Our school district purchased MiFis for families, and various campuses have checked out computers for students to use at home. Our district has also discharged school buses that have hotspots in them, so families can drive up and connect with their technology to the internet. At first, I struggled to find a balance between the many hats that I now have to wear. It's very different. When I'm at school working, I'm not worrying about who will teach my child because he's with his teacher. But now that we're all at home, I have to wear the counselor hat, the teacher hat, the mommy hat, and be able to switch roles in an instant. At first, this was definitely a struggle. I wanted to do everything at once. Then I learned that it's best to have a routine and to teach my kids about what's happening. During the day, for example, when I'm on the computer and I have my headphones on, my kids know that I'm in a meeting. Then they won't come asking me for a snack. They'll check back with me afterwards. I also disconnect daily between 12 and 1 to eat lunch with my family. And in that 1 hour, we eat all together, we focus on the quality bonding time. Then I'll continue working in the afternoon and then help Sterling with his work for school. I found that it was difficult to homeschool him in the mornings because most of my meetings and trainings are scheduled during that time. So I wasn't able to be consistent with his homeschooling. It worked out a lot better when I would do his homeschooling in the afternoon. I can give him a lot more of my attention and he's a lot more alert. Skylar, my 3-year-old, she doesn't go to school yet, so when Sterling would be working, she would try to play with him. And that was a big distraction for him. So I would give her a copy of whatever he's working on, that way she wouldn't feel left out. I think that the shelter-at-home experience has its advantages and disadvantages. I really enjoy being with my family throughout the day. The biggest anxiety I have when I go to work is not being with my children. Since we're now home together all day, it brings me a sense of peace to know that my family is safe. Since the mandate, we've done a lot of cooking. My kids enjoy baking cupcakes and cookies with me. My husband and I have enjoyed trying different types of dishes, and it's really a great time to bond with one another. I think it's important for parents to remember that kids are kids. You don't need to push them to sit through an 8-hour day to complete their work. That's just not how it is in the classroom. The classrooms may have a 90-minute block, but it consists of kinesthetic learning, song and play, and other creative methods of teaching. Their 8-hour day may also consist of extracurricular activities and recess with their friends. So having your child sit at home during their work for 8 hours really is just not ideal. Give them breaks and learn with them. When doing work, be sure that your child is in a quiet area away from the TV. If they're using internet for virtual classes, monitor their device. Lastly, stay in constant communication with your child's teacher. As an educator, we know that this is not easy for some parents, and we are here to help.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That is so true for how the parents are having to now also deal with teaching their kids at home, but we've picked up some great recommendations and tips from Elizabeth in helping us cope with this and handle our teaching our schools, teaching our kids at home better. So up next, we will make some flat in the curve pizza bread with Myla Simbulan. Stay with us. This is Eagle News. Watching Eagle News, I'm Anna Kui in Las Vegas. Are you craving an easy-to-make but satisfying meal? Well, I'm glad you stayed with us because tonight, Eagle News correspondent Myla Simbulan invites us to her kitchen in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania to show us how to make what she calls the flatten the curve pizza bread. Thank you for joining us, Myla. What do you got there?
Hi, Anna. That's right. We're going to be flattening the curve pizza bread. That's our producer who named that. But it's a quick and easy flatbread pizza. And I'm a mom with 3 kids. And lunchtime is a challenge for me because I only have an hour, 12 to 1, for to make lunch. And right now, ordering out is not it's not a good option for me. It's just I rather make my own lunch for the kids and the family. That's why I'm thinking of those recipes that will satisfy them. It's healthy and it's also quick because it's always a challenge for me what are the different choices we have for lunch because I don't want to feed them nuggets every day, especially on weekdays. Right. And so this is really be quick and easy. Even your kids can make it because my kids makes it too.
Well, so can you tell us? Of course, you have to go out to the store, right? Get the ingredients.
Yes.
How is it there? Here in Vegas, more stores are open, of course, and you see people. Most of the time, especially now, I would say about 80% do follow the rules of wearing face coverings and following the social distancing. How about there in your area?
I picked the store where I go to where I know that the people are following all those rules, but they're kind of, when you enter, there's a line. Because you want to limit the number of people who goes inside the store. And what I like is they really sanitize all those carts and baskets.
Yeah.
And, you will have, there's always a long line to the store that I go to. But then I'm I'm confident that they are really cleaning everything, even the rails outside.
Yes.
I just went to the store today, and they're really sanitizing everything. The doors of the refrigerators are also sanitizing those places, and those shields they put in front of the cashier, they have those as well. And then when I go to the cashier, there's a place for you to stand. You cannot put your groceries onto the cash register. You cannot do that. They're the ones going to pick it. They're the ones who's going to bag it. And then the only time you're going to go near them is when you have to pay. And then they will give you your bag. And I'm a person who always brings reusable bags. They don't avoid anything too, because that's to protect their employees, because you don't know what bags bring over, right? They might be infected as well. So those are the things that I look for to the grocery stores that I go to.
Wow, that's interesting that you can't even bring your own bags now. But that's good. I mean, it makes you feel safe, right? To see people are taking all those precautions.
Yes, yeah.
So tell us the ingredients of this flatten the curve pizza bread you have.
So for this pizza, you can put any toppings that you want. The basic one that you need is a pizza sauce. It can be, you can get it, it's in a jar, they can call it pizza sauce. But if you sauce, you can also use marinara sauce. All those red sauces on the jar, you can use those as well. Sometimes I use that if I run out of pizza sauce. It doesn't have to be pizza sauce. I also have different type of cheeses here. I have mozzarella, I have cheddar, I have fresh mozzarella. I also have fresh tomatoes. I have my plant here. You can see that. I planted that. That's organic.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's amazing. I'm not a green thumb, but this has been in my house for a couple of weeks. So I'm proud of myself.
I was going to ask about that. That's really good.
Yes. So we're gonna make two types of pizza. One is the cheese pizza, because my kids, that's their favorite, and the other one is marguerite, and that one is using all those fresh mozzarella, tomatoes, and basil. So those are that we're gonna use today to make two types of pizza. Like I said, you can use any toppings that you want. You can put ham. You can even put. Sometimes we make as a dessert. We even use flat bread and then put chocolate as a sauce, and put all marshmallows, banana, nuts, whatever you want.
That's good as a dessert also then.
Yes, exactly. And the reason why I like flatbread is because you don't have to cook it. You don't have to make it from scratch. And you can buy this at any store, and it's always available. These are just tiny, but this will fill up when I make this size. It's like one slice of pizza already. You don't even have to slice it. And then they can put any toppings that they want, which is fun too, because lunchtime they're gonna make their own, and I'll be the one who put it on the oven, and they just put everything in there.
Oh, that's good. So it's a family. It gets to be a family affair, and they get to teach. They get to learn how, and I'm sure they have fun too at the same time, right? Making.
Oh yes. They love making their own pizza. Yes. The good thing, I have two types of oven here. I have the oven over here. I also have an air fryer, which we can also bake, and that's the one they can use because it's safer for them. So if I'm not home during lunch, they can actually make their own pizza. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna reveal something about me. I don't cook much, so you say that bread. You just find it in the regular bread section, or
yes. This is a tiny version of it, but you can also get a bigger size, which probably will feed two people if you have a bigger size. It's just this is the one that I found today when I went to the grocery store. So this is like a solo pizza, like one slice of pizza. So yes, you can find this any grocery stores, even with Las Vegas. You have a lot of grocery stores there, so you can get there for sure.
And how long does it take to cook it?
8 to 10 minutes.
Oh, not bad. So your 1 hour lunch.
You don't have to cook your crust, and it's already cooked. So you just need to heat it up, and then the only thing you have to make sure is the cheese is melted. So that's it.
So your 1 hour lunch from work is really sufficient to be able to make this.
Oh yes, yes. So yeah, that's why I keep on researching online, looking for ways to, other ways to feed my children during lunch. It's truly a challenge though. But I'm glad that you have all these options out there. That's why I'm teaching to you. I'm sharing with you all the recipes that I've been learning, so that you can do it yourself as well.
Well, we appreciate it. I'm gonna have to try that. That looks very simple. I think even I could make something like that.
I know. Yeah, I know. It'll be easy for you. Even your kids, they can make it as well.
Well, just like, Elizabeth, as we watched earlier, that she's having to juggle, working, and you as well. How are you dealing with that? How do you think you're handling it?
I have a 14, 11, and a 9, and the most challenging is my youngest, because initially when they first started with distance learning, he needs help especially with his computer, because they're not used to it. So you just have to teach them, and then everything else is organized by their teachers. They use Google Classroom. So they know what to do. They know where to go to now. So they're pretty much adjusted to it already. And if he has questions, he comes to me, and then I'll just tell him to, if I don't know how to help him as well, the teacher is always available anyway. So you can email them, or sometimes you can chat with them, which is a good option.
That's good. So you have. So walk us through what you're doing there, and we want to see the finished product soon.
Yes, of course. So I showed you all the ingredients here. You can see it also on the screen. So first we do the cheese pizza. I usually put olive oil first, so that the edges will not burn that much. I'm just brushing it a little bit with olive oil. And then we'll put the pizza sauce. So like I said, the pizza sauce doesn't have to be pizza sauce in the bottle. You can use marinara sauce.
Mm-hmm. I like the white sauce. So I'm
yeah,
you can probably use that too.
It's good with bacon as well. And meat.
Bacon would be good.
Bacon. So yeah, and then I'm going to put the mozzarella cheese. You can put as much as you want. I'm putting cheddar cheese because the color of it pops the color, and makes it creamier too when you put it. And today we're going to put bacon bits. You can also buy this any grocery store. It's already cooked bacon, and they already chop it as well. So you don't have to cook bacon and then chop it yourself.
Yes.
Sure. And
that I know where we can find that in the grocery store.
And then this one is my husband's favorite. It's I don't know if you've tried margherita pizza.
Yes.
We use fresh ingredients for this. I don't even use pizza sauce on this because we're going to put fresh tomatoes. So I'm going to put olive oil again, EVOO, and brush it. This is sort of the sauce. And then we're going to slice some tomatoes. You can also put mozzarella cheese, the grated one, at the bottom. So that I'll use up all the cheese in there. And then we'll put all these tomatoes, and then we'll have this fresh mozzarella cheese. This is my favorite.
That looks good, especially when the cheese are all melted, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's really creamy. I love it. And then we're gonna put some of my basil. I love basil. They smell so good.
Your basil plant looks great, Myla.
I know. I can't believe it either, you know.
Easy to take care of?
Yeah, just put water. So I already bought it like this, and then just make sure you put water on it. That's it.
Nothing better than fresh ingredients.
Yes, these are all fresh ingredients. And then we're going to put some pepper on it. It's hard when it's small. That's it.
Very simple.
Yes.
Yeah,
that
looks good.
Look at that. So we're going to put it on a 400-degree oven. I already have something ready here. So 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. Well, you have to preheat first. I just don't want to overcook the finished product. So, let's grab this.
Very nice. And you mentioned, you know, cooking at home saves not only that it's healthier because you can control, you know, how much you can put on it, and also you save some money.
Yes,
home,
because
right?
at least you know what you put in your pizza, what your children eat. So, and you're having fun as well.
That's definitely one of the positive things from being at home is more family time together.
Exactly, yeah. So we eat lunch together as well. And it's like a restaurant here during lunch because I have a lot of options in my refrigerator freezer. I have nuggets, I have mozzarella sticks. You know, they're typical lunch.
Ah.
I make sandwiches, so I just ask them, what do you want? You know?
Nice. You can
order, and then I make for them, yeah. That's the only time we have different food for the dinner time. We usually eat whatever I cook. That's the rule. Whatever I cook for dinner, yeah, nothing special for anyone, yes.
Maybe
so
you can play restaurant in your home, Myla. Have your kids serve and, you know, pretend order, things like that. Make it
yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, I know. It sounds fun. So this is the margherita pizza or flatbread, flattening the curve pizza bread. Wow.
Very nice. It looks good.
So it's really creamy. This is good for our producer. She's vegetarian. That's why I made this for her.
Very nice.
I wish you could taste it, Anna. Sorry. I'm eating in front of you.
Well, I'm gonna have to make it and with my daughter, and I'll let you know next time how we did.
Oh yeah.
So all together, putting it together, 8 to 10 minutes. You probably less than 15, 20 minutes then to make the whole meal.
Yes, yeah. That's 15 minutes of my lunchtime.
Wow.
Yep,
That looks delicious. Thank you so much, Myla.
Thank you for having me. It's nice.
We can't wait for your next easy, simple recipe.
Yes. We'll share it to you again.
All right. Stay well, you and your family.
You too.
Eagle Broadcasting Corporation invites you to watch its new shows, Daily Insight Home Edition, Vegas Variety, The Vocal Chamber, and Unfiltered Discussions. And a few reminders before we end today. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose if you're sneezing or coughing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, and avoid contact with sick people. And if you're sick, please stay home and call your healthcare provider. Continue to practice social distancing, keeping at least 6 feet distance between yourself and others, and avoid crowds. Make sure to wear a protective face covering when going out in public. Let's continue to thank our frontline and essential workers with a round of applause. We appreciate you. May you also stay safe and healthy for you and your family. That is today's EBC International coverage of the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Kui, and we live in interesting times.
Mga kababayan, naharap na naman po tayo sa mabigat na pagsubok na ito. Ito yung COVID-19.
I hope everyone's okay. I hope everyone's safe.
Nandito po kami para hikayatin pa po kayo na maging matibay.
Mas maging matatag po tayo and just stay positive po sa lahat po ng nangyayari ngayon.
Mga mahal kong kababayan, lampasan po natin, pagtagumpayan po natin ang pagsubok na ito.
Stay strong sa panahon po na to.
Huwag tayong mawawalan ng pag-asa.
At inihikayat din po namin kayo na sana makinig po tayo sa ating gobyerno.
Sumunod muna tayo sa gobyerno dahil yun yung pinakamainam na paraan para hindi na lumagana pa yung virus.
Let's all stay at home.
Spend time with our loved ones, with our families.
At higit po sa lahat, make sure to pray. Pray for everyone. Pray for everything that is going on right now. Especially our frontliners po who are sacrificing their lives to take care of everything.
Higit sa lahat, patuloy tayong lumapit, magtiwala at manalangin sa ating Panginoong Diyos.
Lagi tayong manalangin dahil yung po ang may pinaka-mainam na solusyon sa lahat po ng mga problema natin.
God bless you and your family. Please stay strong and keep our faith.
Tuloy po ang laban.
Hello there. Imagine Demi got the virus, and she infected 2 more. And those 2 infected a lot more of people. And it goes on and on until it became an epidemic. But what if Demi stayed at home? Then those 2 wouldn't have contracted the virus. Then those people would have not been infected. This is not just your battle, it's everyone's, and you can be a huge help. Follow social distancing, or better yet, stay at home.